You're listening to the Next Team podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Next Team podcast. We're doing football today, and it's episode 49, almost to the magic number 50. And I have my usual suspects, Tarun and Yash. And I think the three of us are pretty much taking the whole podcast at this point. And I know we said that we'll hold ourselves accountable for posting football after the Premier League conclusion, but unfortunately things didn't pan out that way. And
technically, we're still doing it today, so
better late than never, I guess.
Better late than never. I think we have held ourselves accountable. Be proud of ourselves, guys.
Yeah, man.
Not really. I should be ashamed, but it's okay. So before we kick things off, Tarun, just take it away with the normal messages.
Of course. So as usual, guys, if you're watching this, we really thank you all for all your support. So if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to us on YouTube. Please do follow us on Instagram. We are in both these places as the Next Team podcast. And of course, please do check us out on Instagram. And that's where we will be posting all our latest updates on whatever we're doing. And also check us out on TikTok. We are on both these places as at the Next Team SG. And as for our Fantasy Premier League, Vikas will be talking to you about that very soon.
Yeah, you want me to do it now or later in the episode?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Okay. So, boys and girls, the moment you've been waiting for. The winner of our TNT Premier League is, drumroll please. Okay, Lalanas in Pajamas, otherwise known as Lokesh Sampath, who we have no idea who he is, but of course, being in the Premier League, the Fantasy Premier League, he must be a friend of our show. Of course.
Of course, yes.
And
please, Lokesh, if you're watching this, please do reach out to us so that we can talk to you about the next steps. Because what are the next steps?
So the next steps, okay, so we'll be posting the winner's name on our IG, and we will be of course asking that person to identify, I would assume himself, and we will reach out to you with the mystery prize in due course. And for once we have figured out what the mystery prize is, I won't be announcing it in the podcast to keep the suspense. And I'm pretty sure our viewers will know in due course what the mystery prize is. And once again, congratulations, Lokesh. Hopefully we can identify you. If not, of course, the prize will go to the next person in line, who is Fazal Nakwi. So let's see. Hopefully Lokesh identifies himself.
Shall we also say who's at the bottom of the league?
Oh no.
Why?
Who is it?
Because I have a feeling it might be me. I haven't changed my team since game week 1, and I still have Aubameyang in my team. So
you're still 31st, bro. You're not that bad. Yeah.
Okay. Pretty decent. Out of how many?
33. Yeah. I don't want to read out the guy's name to embarrass him. So let's leave it at that. I finished 29th. Yash finished 31st. Tarun finished decently, I think. Where did Tarun finish? Yeah, not that great. 22nd. Yeah, okay. He's still in the 20s.
Higher than both of you guys.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I expected a lot better from you, Adar. That's all I can say.
I mean, I'm quite happy that even with Aubameyang in the team, I'm still not last, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So
that is impressive, yes.
Yeah. So I don't remember anyone else in my team apart from Aubameyang, whom I selected on game week 1.
You know something? I actually realized that the tendency is higher for you to put the player of your favorite club. So whoever club does better, like the season I did better, Man United finished second. And I realized it's a pattern. For always Praveen usually finishes higher because City always do well. And Tarun and BK tend to finish higher than the rest of us because of the fact that Liverpool do well, but not as well as Praveen's team. So I think among the podcast, Praveen is finishing the highest. So I think it's a pattern, and there is a reason for that pattern.
BK and I were 22nd and 25th this season.
Yeah, it's howlers. Liverpool having a howl of a season, and we'll come to that.
Makes no sense. 22nd, we're 1 point off the top.
Failure of a season. Okay, so I think that's the perfect segue failure of a season. Tarun, what do you have to say to that?
That's absolute nonsense.
Uh-huh.
But I expected nothing less from you, Vikas.
Absolutely. Always matching expectations.
Of course.
No
Always,
surprise.
always exceeding my expectations. Just when I think you cannot say anything worse about Liverpool, there you are, man.
It's a failure. I think Klopp should get sacked. You heard that right? Klopp should get
Well,
sacked.
what did I tell you guys? Just when I think he cannot say anything worse, there he comes in. What a
Yep.
man.
Okay, so Tarun, which one do you want to go for? I mean, which one do you want to unpack first? The Champions League
We can
final?
go in chronological order. Start with the league.
Yes. What a beautiful day it was. So
I mean, okay.
okay.
First
It
and
was a mini
foremost,
heart attack. Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, I was not expecting Aston Villa to pull any miracles. Even when they were 2-0 up, I felt that it was just a matter of time until they conceded. I just didn't expect the breakdown to be so spectacular and dramatic in fashion in the end. But
yeah, let's
like,
let's break it down from what happened. So first up, Aston Villa scored against run of play. But I mean, to be fair, they defended pretty well, but of course it was one-way traffic for most of the game, and I think Matty Cash scored the first goal.
Yeah.
And okay, before I talk about City's game, Liverpool actually conceded first against Wolves,
Yes,
right?
that is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the
1-0.
longest time, we were down, we were drawing.
Yeah,
1-1.
But you guys came back within the first half, so it was 1-1 in the Liverpool.
I think it was equalized within the first half, but we were level for quite a while into the second half as well.
Yeah. So when it was 1-1 at halftime, it was 1-0 at the Etihad, and you can sense the anxiety within the stadium. Personally, I was like, as a neutral fan, I mean, of course, as a United fan, I wanted the City to win, but it still was an exciting view. It still made for exciting viewing for me as a somewhat neutral fan. Yeah. But so 1-0 down, and then the magical story unfolded. Philippe Coutinho with an absolute. Actually, that was one of the best goals this season, I would say. Up there, it's really up there in terms of the first touch. The finish.
Probably the best he scored this season.
And I think there's only 2 touches, right, from the opposition penalty box. A long ball, and then someone hit the ball and went to Coutinho or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a beautiful goal. He really took the first touch was the key in that goal. And yeah, to take that chance the way he did, I think then Liverpool's fans started believing. So Tarun, take us through your emotions when that happened, when Coutinho scored 2-0. Don't tell me this bullshit you didn't have any hope on.
I mean, okay,
101%
yes,
sure you
I won't
had
say I didn't have hope, but but hope is different from like a practical sensation. Practically, I still did not expect Villa to see it through. Okay. But there was a part of me that was thinking maybe like, at least if they could get a draw, then that would be quite good lah.
You got to manifest that, bro, Tarun. This is why Liverpool didn't win the league. You got to manifest that, Aston Villa would do it.
Really, Ash, how was all your manifestation this season? How did it go?
Yeah, I mean, that was a good one, not going to lie. But I mean, we'll come back to Arsenal later on. Let's just continue with Liverpool for now.
Yeah. I mean, on a practical level, I think it was always going to be an impossible task for Villa to get a result. And at the same time, if just going back to the Liverpool game first, I think I was pretty confident that we would get a win, even though we consider early and all that. Because even the past couple of games, we came back from behind and we scored 1 or 2 goals to win. I think we drew against Spurs. That was the only one, like the only blip kind of. But I think other than that, we did pretty well coming back from behind. So that wasn't a concern for me. My only concern was what was going on with City and Villa.
So which game were you actually watching? Were you watching a City Villa
game?
I
mean, until Liverpool scored the winner, until the 2-1, that goal, I was watching the Liverpool game.
Okay.
After that, I switched over immediately.
Yeah.
But and going on to the City Villa game, yes, at 2-0 up, it was like the perfect fairy tale kind of dream for a Liverpool fan. Coutinho scores what could have been a potential sealing the game kind of goal, 2-0. You might not expect City to come back from that, personally, I did because they are just that good a team, lah. But
No,
maybe
but
there's some people.
I was watching the game. That's the thing. They were not
Hmm.
playing that well. They were not playing like how they. You could tell the anxiety. They really weren't doing that well. But I think Pep, as much as Patrice Evra can say that he can't handle the big players. I mean, the man has
I mean, it
4
was the
titles.
substitutions which changed the game.
Amazing.
He brought
Yeah.
Gundogan on, he brought-
Every substitution he did
Yeah.
was gold. Worth its weight in gold, honestly.
Hmm.
So, yeah, first up, Gundogan came in, scored. So for me personally, I switched the channel once it went 2-0. I was like, shit, lah. It's like, oh no. So and I switched to Liverpool to see if Liverpool could capitalize. In my back of my mind, I was like, what if both teams lose? That'll be quite memes. And
It wasn't just back of your mind because it was front of your fingers on your phone. We all saw the texts.
Yeah, I know. But it was still good to at least hope that would happen.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Gundogan put one back for City, and then I was like, okay, shit. Now the game is on. Liverpool seemed to, I knew Liverpool would score the winner at some point. But suddenly City Aston Villa became a whole lot more interesting. And 2-1 suddenly became 2-2 out of nowhere. Rodri, what a goal that was.
He always turns up with those long range shots whenever the team needs. I've seen it so many times.
He pretty much passed the ball into the net. That's what he did.
Yeah.
That was such a good goal. Like so satisfying.
From that kind of distance.
Yeah. It's perfect. The accuracy, the power he got on. It was like basically it could have been a through ball, a long through ball, on the ground, like De Bruyne-esque. And yeah, it was brilliant. And suddenly the game became 2-2. So at this point, 2-2, theoretically speaking, I mean, mathematically speaking, Liverpool, if they score the next goal, they win. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I was caught between two minds whether to watch this game or that game. And so what happened was I just happened to be watching the City Villa game, and guess what? City scored again. And it became 3-2, and I was just like, wow, my hats off to them. I mean, if you can show that kind of reactor to come back from 2-0 down on the final day of the Premier League season, when
when you need a win to win the league. Yeah,
exactly.
It's very reminiscent of 2012, I think.
Yeah.
Aguero kind. Obviously not that late winner, but still it happened all in like 5 minutes.
Few minutes extra.
That is still the most dramatic day, but this came very close. Thankfully, I wasn't watching football then. I think I would have honestly suffered a heartache, but it's okay. I think this was as good as I could have probably expected it to go. The only thing would have been more satisfying probably if let's say Liverpool went ahead first, then it would have been nice, like suddenly the hope of Liverpool fans went up, and then you beat it back down again. That would have been fantastic to watch. But okay, I would still take the roller coaster of emotions that went through that day. And it was fun to see BK and Tarun in our chat. Just like the hope, just like oh my god, guys, it's actually happening. BK couldn't control his excitement. I could sense.
Yeah, I could see that. BK was
that
like, man
oh
was fully believing. That man was fully believing Aston Villa can beat City.
Yeah, I mean, fair play. I mean, if I was a Liverpool fan, I would be believing the same thing. That was your best chance of that happening. And my thinking was like, City have done it before, but it's very difficult to do it again. And I mean, I know the squad which won the title in 2012 is completely different from this squad. To do it twice in your club's history is like it's quite difficult. I mean, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet for that happening again. So that was just it was a spectacle of a day. That's all I can say. And of course we had that incident in Anfield where the fans started celebrating, thinking Aston Villa had equalized.
Yes. I don't even know how it started. There's nothing in there to suggest anything similar to a goal. It wasn't even something ruled out. It was just people randomly celebrating. I was like,
it's quite funny. Yeah.
Because I had notifications on for the City game as well on my phone. And I was like, wait a sec, why are they celebrating? That's not right. I didn't see any notifications.
Yeah.
Then I switched over. It was just proceedings as normal.
Yep. So that was that, and full time. I think Salah kept checking after scoring the goal, right? After scoring the winner, he kept checking with the fans. I saw it in the interview.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he was apparently
I
heartbroken.
guess he was hoping he scored the title-winning goal.
Yep.
It's not to be.
Yeah. I mean, I was happy.
Of course you were.
Of course I am. But yeah, I think that was that. And City won the league, deservedly so, I have to say. The only crime for me was Klopp winning the manager of the year. After that, I have no clue how he can win that. Like honestly, like even think Taro would agree with me to the fact that he's good. Don't get me wrong. Liverpool are a fantastic team. On paper they are probably one of the strongest teams in England or even Europe for that matter. But to say that based on pure results wise, I don't think Klopp probably deserved the manager of the year award. I would give it to either Pep for obvious reasons, or even there are some other more deserving managers like Eddie Howe, or
But I given it to David Moyes.
David Moyes. There's so many other great candidates who could have won it. And I mean, to pick the guy that finished second, I mean, yeah, he got don't get me wrong, got 90 plus points in both the seasons which he finished second. But that's how good the other team that won the league was. That's the thing, and you should give that guy more credit than Klopp. Is all I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of I guess.
I mean, I can
It's
see
robbery. It's robbery. That's what
I can see why people disagree with it, and I can agree to some extent that maybe like Pep would have been a better candidate, or maybe even Eddie Howe would have been a better candidate. But at the same time, it's like we closed down a pretty big gap to chase down City to the last day. Kept it to
I think City also
1
kind
point.
of bottled 11 points. They had like 11-point lead in Jan or something, I think.
Yeah,
So in a way, they
11
bottled that
it
point.
means it means
late as
nothing
well.
though at the grand scheme of things.
I mean,
It's
of
like,
course, it means nothing. But then also think about it as a whole kind
It's
of
like-
progression of a season. They kind of held a dip and then they picked it up again. Whereas Liverpool, they had a slight dip, I believe, at the start of the season, right? They had a slight dip and then they were just consistent throughout. But yeah, I guess you could argue that it comes both ways.
Yeah, see, the thing is, the problem I have with this is there was a team better than you. End of the day, whatever it was, however your season went, every team has ups and downs in its seasons, but who prevails at the end is what matters. And for me, Liverpool didn't do enough. Klopp didn't do enough in that regard. Yeah, I mean, he could have potentially won a quadruple, which would have been a phenomenal record. But yeah, they didn't do it. Is the matter of fact. Like it's like Poch brought Spurs to the Champions League final, but he didn't win it, so he had nothing to show for it. He wasn't amazing. He didn't have an amazing season. He could have probably won, the manager of the year as such. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't win anything at the end of the day. He had nothing to show for it. So yeah, I think that's it for the Premier League, at least for Liverpool wise. We wanted to talk about Arsenal, right? But yeah, I mean, Arsenal beat absolutely battered Everton, and I think it was I think you guys are a flat track bully. That's all I can say. And Spurs, I think you expected nothing less. Speaking of Spurs, I'm very happy for Son, by the way, for winning the Golden Boot. I think that's an amazing achievement.
Yep.
First Asian player to win the Golden Boot in the Premier League.
I think for you, Vikas, it's also more of a good feeling that it's not a Liverpool player winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not just the Liverpool player winning.
Yeah, that's not my only issue. I mean, personally, I like Mo Salah as a player. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's a good player, but it's just good to see Son as an Asian, because typically Asians, the only Asian I remember before him that had this or that had success in the Premier League was probably Park Ji-sung, and he wasn't even in the same position. He was more of a defensive mid kind of player.
Come on, man, how can you forget the Arsenal legend Park Chu-young and Ryo Miyachi?
Yeah, I mean,
who played hardly one game for the club. Both of them.
Absolutely, bro. Yep.
Might as well include Tomiyasu in this.
Oh yeah. Hey, okay. I mean, fair. Tomiyasu is a good player.
He's been a good player, yeah.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
Just that it's kind of sucks that he had a bit of injury issues this season. But I guess every player, when it comes to Arsenal, they basically become glass. I think there's something wrong with the medical facility staff, whatever you call it. They make every player become glass. So
yeah.
Like Partey didn't have a single injury record at Atletico Madrid. Comes to us, is always out half the season for us. Tomiyasu, no injury record in Bologna, comes injured for half a season. So, yeah.
Yep. And yes, so Son amazing, and then United also lost. Thankfully, I didn't watch the match.
Well done.
I am not surprised whatsoever.
Brighton had to beat West Ham so that you all don't play Conference League, if I'm not wrong.
Thank you, Brighton. But I mean, you just made my tickets more expensive. Is all I have to say. But yeah, I guess sixth is okay, expected at the rate we were going. Seventh would have been quite funny personally. I didn't even switch the match to the United game. Actually, I was not even bothered at that point because it felt quite pointless. We were playing our young players. Rangnick had given up, and speaking of Rangnick, he also is taking up the Austrian job on a full-time basis, and he's no longer going to be our consultant, which I think is a huge blow for United more than anything, because he was the best man to tell Ten Hag about what was going on in the inside. He was like our insider, and right now we don't have that. I mean, yeah, probably Ten Hag would have the contact number of Rangnick to ask about certain players and what gets them going, what doesn't get them going, kind of things. But end of the day, if it's anyone's loss, it's probably United's. I would have to say, and it's still the same toxic dressing room that has been there since Mourinho's era. It hasn't changed, truth be told. The only person who could sort of restore some harmony was Ole. I know you guys will probably throw stones at me, but he was that kind of he was a nice guy who people could, I guess, trust, and they can just be themselves. So there wasn't so much of toxicity. But
it didn't seem to change the fact that you would still have a toxic dressing room in the end.
Yeah. I mean, the cracks started to open in Ole's third season. So I mean, this season probably went as bad as it could have. I still remember having conversations with you guys, I think before the start of our season, where I think I was justifying it to Praveen or someone that top four is like a given to us now. We are like a proper top four, and I mean, I had good reason to believe it as well. It wasn't like it wasn't unwarranted. I wasn't talking out of my ass or something. I really knew what I really had something to believe in, but things don't pan out the way you want it. It just feels like we got our lowest points total history, I think.
I'm just gonna say I still feel today that Ole would have still done a better job than what Ralf Rangnick did after he came on. Because I honestly feel, right, Ralf Rangnick, right, as much as he's hyped, I don't think he's that great of a manager. That's my own personal feelings of Rangnick.
See, that's the thing. One more thing, one key thing you have to take note about Rangnick is that he was not even allowed to make any signings. He had to make do with the players he had, and it was a very
but the players you already had is already pretty damn good players. You can't argue that you didn't have the right players. You have Varane, you have Ronaldo, you have Bruno, you have basically the only player you don't have is a midfielder, a proper.
Bro, the thing is, it's the same thing for Ole. Ole was having the same players, and he had to play with the same players. And the whole dressing room was falling apart. Any manager in the world could have come into the dressing room, and you would have played the same way. I can guarantee you that he could.
It's the manager's job to get the best out of the players, bro, as much as you say, right?
Okay, whatever I can say whatever I want, because we did not have the players Rangnick wanted. If you're inheriting a squad that is so toxic, the dressing room is so toxic, you can't get the players to play the way you want to. At least if you are given a transfer budget and you have that threat of players leaving, you can sort of mold the team as to how you want to play it. It was still Ole's team, that's the truth. He was the one that when he took over United, he sold like all the aging players and Lukaku. I forgot who the other players were, but he sold a couple of aging players, and he brought in some young players like Martial, Rashford, sort of gave them the starting role, I would say, under Ole. And majority of the squad is Ole's squad, and that's the proof. You might be right in saying that he might have done a better job, but to say that Rangnick did a bad job I'm just saying that I feel any manager in the world, even Pep, would have done a shit job under our.
I would disagree with that because
I would say-
I just feel that a lot of these other different managers talk about Pep and stuff. They will somehow get the best out of their players. You
See,
look at
bro-
Jurgen Klopp. No, listen first. You look at Jurgen Klopp. The first season he came in, he inherited the Liverpool squad mid-season, and I believe Liverpool still finished pretty decent. I think that season. I
No,
can't remember
We
exactly.
finished 8th, but we did make it to 2 finals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that just
Middle
defeats
to-
your points.
No,
straight away.
but you see, they did make it to 2 finals. They were at
That's
least
the
in a
point.
cup competitions. You know.
That's the point.
Liverpool,
That's the
not
point.
Liverpool, sorry. United were nowhere this season.
What's the
Not
point?
a single competition.
I feel like you go all the way to the final and you lose it. What's the point? You know, that's the thing. It really doesn't make a difference. Unless
you
you're
are
the-
What is
saying-
the difference between finishing 2nd and 4th?
no, but that's different. League position is different from a cup position. I still feel league position is very, very different.
What's the
League
Yeah,
difference?
but
position-
see, if you had won a cup this season, you could still have gotten.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
which
I mean,
competitions were you in?
I don't.
Champions League?
We were knocked out very, very early. In
Yeah,
every
Champions League. You were
competition.
knocked out early. Were you in the
You-
Europa League as well
No,
this season? Oh, you did. You guys didn't get Europa League.
I
I
we,
can't.
get, we went to the round of 16, bro. We actually
Oh, okay. You went. Okay.
we
I
lost.
can't-
We got out to
okay.
Atletico. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, the thing is, I'm just what I'm saying is, no matter who would have taken over, given the players we had with such a toxic dressing room, no manager could have done an amazing job with our current squad. That's all I'm saying. 'Cause,
Yeah, but then who would you put this blame on having such a toxic squad? Would you put
the
it on
players, simple as that, lah. There is no other explanation to this.
So
The
despite
players-
spending billions of money in the past, I don't know how many
oh,
years.
the recruitment hasn't. On paper, it's good, but
So
the
you
truth
can't
is
really
that-
say it's the players. You have to put the blame on the board as well.
I mean, I can't put the blame on the board because they gave the trust in the manager. Ole probably wanted Sancho and Varane. They got him the players he wanted. So you can't blame the board. You can't keep blaming the board. I mean, the board obliges. But if the players as a whole, when you put them in a group, they aren't gelling well together. That is, I mean, yeah, to an extent you blame the manager because it was cracks under Ole, but ultimately it's the players, because if we haven't had that success since Mourinho left, how can you blame anyone else apart from the players? It's the
I
same.
mean, you guys
it's-
finished second last season, so I don't know how you said you guys didn't have success since Mourinho left. I mean, yeah, in terms of competition-wise,
we haven't
trophy-wise,
won a trophy.
probably.
Yeah, we haven't
Yeah,
won a
for
trophy. that's the
sure.
thing.
But see, finishing second in a league it's quite a big achievement for the squad you had last season, and you actually improved your squad massively in terms of names, at least this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying any of that, bro. But the thing is, time and again, the players are sort of given the tools to succeed, but they're not succeeding. So who do you blame at this point? It's the players. At some point, the players have to shoulder some of the blame, I feel. We're always talking about.
I'm not denying
swapping
that
managers.
about. Yeah,
We're talking
denying
about
that.
swapping managers every time, right? But if you think about it, we've been swapping managers. The results haven't improved drastically. I mean, Ole is the closest, I would say. I'm still a big proponent of Ole, but he had to be sacked the time he had to be sacked because we lost 4-0 to Watford. That's unacceptable for any club. But
It's acceptable to
the-
Arsenal, bro.
I mean, we are not that different, bro. We're playing the same. We're playing the same competition after all that hype.
I know. Just a joke. Continue.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. My point is ultimately the players are the constant throughout this whole period of time, and we haven't had much success despite changing our managers. I think we have had like three managers so far. In fact, Mourinho, Ole, and Rangnick. Yeah, 3 managers. Results. We haven't had a single silverware to show for it.
I mean, Mourinho gave you Europa League, lah. So
Yeah, I'm talking about since Mourinho.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, after he got sacked. So yeah, so if I count these 3 managers, the players more or less have been the same, and we haven't had much success. So you have to blame the players. I can't blame the managers at this point.
I mean,
So-
I think it also has to come down to your scouting team more than anything. If you look at Liverpool, right, the signings we make, we have a very specific profile of player that we are targeting
yeah.
at any time. So that is not just something that a manager chooses. I mean, for us, yes, it is something that, Klopp is very particular about, but it's something that the scouting team also has to work very closely with them, with the managers, and also with the board to make sure that they can identify a certain kind of player that everyone wants. And at the end of the day, if the club signs a player and that player doesn't fit that personality, let's say, then it's not the player's fault, it's the club's fault.
yeah.
Okay, the thing is, you have to look at Man United specifically, though. It's
Mhm.
more than the style of play and everything beyond that, right? It's
Yeah, no,
just the
I'm talking
dressing
about
room
like
that is toxic.
not style of play, but more like mentality and attitude.
Yeah, but if it's a repeated thing where one of the most, I would say one of the best managers of our time, Jose Mourinho, couldn't fix it. I really think it has to do with the players as well. I mean, whatever Mourinho said about Luke Shaw, but who else did he make comments about? He made some comments about a few players. It turned out to be true in the end.
Mhm.
As much as I wanted to defend him after, or rather, I wanted to defend our players after finishing second under Ole. The truth is, the cracks are opening up. We haven't had success since, and yeah, it's time to face the facts. Our players are just toxic, and some we need to have a mass exodus this summer. Get rid of all this, like dead weight. I think even
You
talking
can't do
about
it
like
in one summer. La. The fact is, it's just too big of a thing to do it in
yeah,
just
Yeah.
one
yeah,
summer.
100%,
You look at
100%.
Arsenal, it's taken us 3 years to get rid of our deadwood. And we
And you're
still have a
back.
few of our deadwood still there. No.
Yeah, and you guys finished the same, say in the same league as us, so it's quite funny.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, wait, before I move on, I'll just give you a fact. Last season, 69 points would have given you third place. This season, we are at 69 points with the youngest squad in the league,
Mm.
and we finished fifth. So it's not really you can't really blame Arsenal for the point of not getting Champions League. We had a youngest squad in the entire league, and we were basically same points as the Liverpool team, which finished third last season. So I feel your argument is a bit pointless, for saying Arsenal is in the
Okay,
same. I mean,
one
yeah,
more
for
thing,
sure, we are
one
still in
more
the
thing.
same.
It's always relative. I still stand by that argument because every season a team is different. Every season you have new signings, you have new players going out.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, but I'm talking
so
about you look
you
at
have
Arsenal,
to-
the way we have evolved over the
whatever
season.
whatever it is, the results is what matters. And I feel like given the position you guys were in, you guys should have finished fourth. Of course, at the start of the season, you asked me fifth is acceptable. But given the position you guys were in, it's like Leicester bottling their top four positions against us.
Yeah, but you got to
both
understand
times.
this as well, that sometimes you need to have those big mentality players which we don't have yet. And these young kids will need to have some kind of experience like this to make them big mentality players. You always need to taste failure before it has success.
I feel like
That's a saying in life.
you guys have tasted failure for too long, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a process. Okay. And you talk about failure. We won more FA Cups than you guys in the past, I don't know, 2 years or whatever it is, when we are actually on the same kind of level. So at least we were winning cups. Whereas you guys were, okay, you guys finished second, that's a fact. But then, at least in terms of relative success, you can't say that we have not been successful. Yes, I'll agree that we are not successful to where we want to be. But there is something in that team where at least on and off, they turn up in maybe at least cup competitions. But now this season, you can clearly see that there has been progress where this team is capable of fighting. It just needs a little bit push, a few signings, and I'm convinced that next season we can be a top four squad. I mean, of course, it also depends on how other teams around us improve, which they will as well. But I'm optimistic of the club. And my point is just that you can't say that Arsenal there's not been any progression. That's all I'm saying. Because I feel from you, what I'm getting is that we are at the same level as United. But I feel we are not. We finished 11 points above you guys. Yeah, we are same Europa League. That's fine. But, there is a big difference between the technical quality of your players and your failure there compared to our players and our inexperience there.
See, I agree with the fact that you guys are probably better placed. I mean, if I was a manager, I would rather take over Arsenal right now because you guys are a lot more united as a squad. And honestly, you guys, if I was to bet who's going to reach top four next season, it's probably you guys. I'm not going to deny that, but I'm just talking about pure results wise. And results wise, you are fifth, we are sixth, and both of us are playing in the same Europa League. It's like Chelsea finishing third and Spurs finishing fourth. Both of them are going to the Champions League. It's at some point at the top, among the top four, only the first place matters for the champions. That's the proof. Even though we finished second, yeah, it's an achievement, but you have nothing to really show for it at the end of the season. That's why people were talking about Ole getting sacked even after finishing second and bottling the Europa League final and all that.
Which is why I'm saying you have to always look at the context from where we started this season to where we actually finished. It has been a success. Yes, for sure, it's a failure that we didn't get Champions League, but these things happen. You need, as a team, you do need a little bit of experience of such sort to sort of maybe give you the boost to hopefully, I mean, I really hope that I'm saying this, that get success in the future. So
Yeah, I mean, I can go on and on about, failure. Then there is no proven formula that you have to taste failure before you taste success. Okay, that's the one.
yeah,
If
but
I have
I'm
to say
talking
one
about
thing.
this young players. Young
Yeah,
players, they
yeah,
need to go through some sort of experience to get further, to get better. Mo Salah didn't in one day or one season become the world star he is. He went to Chelsea, he went to, I believe, Fiorentina or whatever club in Serie A he went. And that's when he actually developed himself and became better. That's what I'm trying to say. The players we have now is just 20 to 22 years old, our main players. And they need a few seasons to get to the level where they should be or their potential is. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you get my point, but that's what I've just been trying to say all this while. So it's kind of acceptable for me that we kind of failed Champions League this, like top 4 this season, because it was kind of expected from this group of players because of the way or the youngness of the squad, basically. Yeah, that's just my point, basically.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So after that lengthy debate, let's move on to another beautiful final, the Champions League final, where my dear Tarun will bring us through his emotions once again.
Okay. Honestly, I was just very, very pissed off by the time the final actually started because of all the delays.
Yep.
And I'm okay, there's a topic for another more serious video, I guess. But just talking about the football today. For the first half, I think everyone can agree it was all us, all the way until like 40th, 42nd minute. And that's when we had like our first lapse in concentration, really, which was the offside goal.
Yep.
And
it's a
By the
comical
way,
defending, by the way.
Wait, the offside goal was the Benzema goal, is it?
Yeah.
And if someone explain to me how that's offside,
because it was considered a deflection.
so as a result, it's considered offside, even though I don't know if I was seeing the wrong replays or what on social media, but at least from what I saw, it didn't seem offside to me.
So the offside rule states that if it's a deflection by a defender, or if it's not meant to be an intentional pass, then it is considered offside if it goes to a player in an offside position.
Okay.
Yeah. So the referee decided that Fabinho was not trying to like intentionally pass it back to Alisson or someone. And so it was considered a deflection, and that's why Benzema was offside.
But what is your view on that? Do you think it's offside?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't.
You're asking a Liverpool fan that. Come on.
I mean, okay. No. Okay. Like if let's say
that was United playing, what would you say? Tell me honestly.
I might have argued a bit more. I think it's 50-50 call. No, but the thing is, if let's say you have a player making a slide tackle, right? And after a slide tackle, is that player's keeper allowed to pick up the ball?
Yeah, it's a debatable call.
Yeah, because like you can say that it's intentional to get the ball, but it can also say that he wasn't trying to pass it back to the keeper. He just wanted to clear the ball away, and I think that's what both our defenders were trying to do. So regardless of who it comes off of, I think I would argue that it was offside. I would argue that it was a non-intentional play. So yeah.
Okay. Sure. And I personally didn't watch it live, so I can't comment on it much. So I'll just have to take your word for it.
I'll just say that for me, I didn't even know that the rule of offside applied that when you have two players at the back and stuff. I didn't know such a rule applied that the offside actually stops at the goalkeeper. Like, it's my first time hearing it, honestly.
The offside doesn't care whether the last two players has a keeper or whoever it is. It can be two strikers on the line for all it matters, but as long as there's two of them, it's onside. Yeah. If you don't have two, then it's offside.
So I was more of, instead of looking at the whether it was deliberate for Fabinho, I was looking at the rules because I was so confused about the rules because it was something which you hardly see it happen,
Right. Like, I mean, naturally, the last two players are always going to be a keeper and one defender.
Yeah, so that's why. So it's quite unnatural. But okay, I would say looking back at it, I would say it was definitely unintentional because I think it came off one other player and then hit Fabinho and then went to Benzema basically.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, I would say it's it was the right decision. But in the moment, I felt it should have been a goal.
I remember this was a talking point a few years back because I think it was a Spurs game and Lovren tried to make a slide tackle. He didn't get much on the ball, but he made contact with the ball and it went to an offside play and he scored. And there was a lot of talk about whether it should have been given or not because he didn't like intentionally play the pass, but he intentionally made a block or a slide. And there was a lot of debate surrounding that. And I think this is how it should have been applied. And I don't think it would have been as controversial if it happened in a different match.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the second half. I think I still think Liverpool did probably
okay,
the better chances.
Once again, we had quite a bit of chance, quite a lot of chances, and Courtois was outstanding. It's absolutely
Courtois was
amazing.
world class.
Performance from him.
Brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant to see because I think he also mentioned in the post-match interview that some people in England were doubting him and stuff like that. So I mean, he is a world-class keeper. He was at 21. He was a champ. He was in a Champions League final with Atletico, I think. For a long time, Chelsea sent him on loan to Atletico Madrid, and yeah, he's a class keeper. He's huge as well. He's built, and
He covers too much of the goalpost, man. It's not fair.
It is. It's like almost a Donnarumma. But
I feel it's safe against Salah in the second half. Salah hit it with his right foot. I think that was the best save in my opinion because the way Salah hit it so hard was just I thought it's definitely going in, but somehow it just got some fingertips to it.
Yeah. There was one first half save as well. It's insane.
Yeah, one first half as well.
The first half
So
bottom right
saves
corner.
were insane, honestly.
Bottom right corner. That was
correct. That's the one I remember. So bottom right.
That was probably the save of the match for me. But let's then talk about the way Liverpool conceded. So I mean, I've seen on TikTok. I know like football fans aren't the best football analysts, but I can see there is some substance to that argument, I guess. Robertson was pushing up at Modric and as a result kept the left side exposed. And instead of, he thought that, Modric would pass it to his back three, but Modric was too class. He just gave it on the turn back to his midfielder. And as a result, Valverde was released down the right flank, leaving Liverpool's left back position exposed. And then we saw some wonderful defending by the man behind you, Tarun. Man was leaning forward and sticking his leg out, almost Maguire-esque. And that was good to see. Finally, Van Dijk making a mistake.
But I think if you ask Valverde, he would probably say that it was a cross, but I'm pretty sure that was a shot actually. I'm 100% sure it was a shot.
I don't think it was a shot. I think it was a pass. I really think he meant a pass. I feel if it was a shot, he would have probably hit it harder. It was too soft for a.
Yeah, honestly, the weight on it looked like a pass, more like a.
I would argue that it's definitely not a shot, definitely. To me, it is. It was too far off to take a shot from there, bro. He was literally that was a crossing position. I don't think there's any way possible that.
I mean, if he did intend it to be a cross, then that's a worldly of a cross,
Yeah, it was.
It crossed like the entire back line.
Perfect. And once again, Klopp defending Trent of what not being able to defend, being the best defender. Of course,
I mean, it's unlucky. Trent was spot on the whole match defensively, except at one moment.
Yeah, but that's the level of these games. The Champions League final, one mistake, you're out.
That's true.
But I would personally for that goal, I would blame either Van Dijk or Robertson more than Trent, because it was still a very well-timed run, to be fair, and it was an amazing ball. It was really a worldie of a ball. It went through like the whole back line. So I would personally put it down to either Robertson or Van Dijk for poor defense.
Wait, why Van Dijk?
I mean, he should a player of his stature should be blocking that. Like he was almost afraid of the ball a bit. I would expect that from Maguire or any United defender. I would not expect that from Van Dijk, who's a world-class defender.
No, but the thing about it is when Robertson is so far up, Van Dijk is there defending against two players. He has Carvajal going on the outside, and he also has to watch Valverde on the ball. And I don't think he's expecting Valverde to cross it behind Van Dijk. So
yeah, fair enough.
So
I would say most of the blame probably falls on Robertson, but I just feel like given Van Dijk's high standards, he sets himself, because we seldom see Van Dijk ever frazzled, like, or ever being put in that kind of situation where he could miss the ball or something like that. Personally,
I think this was just it's more instinctive that he tried to stop it, because like in that scenario, it's not the ball that you expect to be played. Either you expect him to play the overlap to Carvajal, or you expect him to maybe try and go outside. How do I put it? You expect him to try and go deeper than Van Dijk, and Van Dijk had both of those covered. Or you expect him to like take a step back, pass it across the face of the goal, and have someone else put it in, and that the other defenders had covered. But you do not expect that cross from that position from Valverde.
Yeah. I mean, see, the thing is, any other defender, I wouldn't be so harsh. But it's just because Van Dijk and the standards he sets himself. Some people call him like the greatest Premier League defender of all time. I just feel like when you're being compared in that bracket, you should be defending that better. That's all I feel.
I mean, like, he still didn't make a mistake. He was defending two players. That was the best he could do in the situation. If he goes towards Valverde, then he's opening up one, maybe two players even.
Yeah, but Carvajal still has to. Carvajal could still be played offside, right? In that scenario. That's the thing.
I mean, that was supposed to be the plan, to play Vinicius offside also lah.
I mean, one thing I would say is lately, at least towards the end of the season, I feel Liverpool's defense was quite fragile.
Yeah, you know what? I will agree with you on that. I've seen a lot of people say...
a lot of times, like a lot of matches which I've watched Liverpool live, they look shaky lah. They might not have considered because they have Alisson in goal, but
correct.
They consider way too many chances to what they used to before, in my opinion.
Like, I've seen a lot of people say especially in the data of this season, that it didn't matter because he was offside, or like we play a high line, that's how things happen, we play them offside, that kind of things. But a lot of the chances that we considered were not actually offside. It was just very well-timed runs between our players. I think it has to do with fatigue, like player fatigue as well, because you need to be very sharp to play a high line.
And your fullbacks are constantly running. That's the thing. Your style of play is highly dependent on fullbacks making the runs and banging in the world-class crosses. So right. I think it's perfectly normal for you guys to concede this many chances. But you guys have very strong
even with our
pairing in front of your keeper. So it's still okay as well to play that kind of system.
No, but even with our fullbacks attacking, we had that the first half of the season also, but we didn't concede this kind of chances earlier. So I think it's just a lot to do with like how sharp our players are, how sharp they can stay with each other to hold that line.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's natural. You can't expect to be at 100% every game.
That's true.
So I wouldn't really blame it, or rather, I wouldn't really say like it's a big issue for Liverpool, because that's just a trade-off you guys have to make, given your style of play. Because it also gets you a lot of goals.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of how clinical you guys. I mean, you guys are also very clinical when it comes to your chances. Usually, if I were to take the
3 cup finals, 0 goals. Yeah, I mean, just facts, lah, bro. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not disagreeing that he's not clinical, but I feel at the same time, I think when it comes to the crucial moments for Liverpool, at least the front kind of fails to deliver.
What's the third cup final? Sorry,
Chelsea against Chelsea, both the cup finals against Chelsea with a penalty, and the Madrid game.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about this season. Okay.
Yeah, this season. So like these 3 games, you guys, I mean, failed. I mean, okay, you guys created chances, but then at the end of the day, we still talk about conversion. Creating chances means nothing if you can't put it into the back of the net. So I feel that's where a lot of I feel it's a little bit of a failure in that regard for Liverpool. At least in the big games, I'm saying, like the big game. I mean, even against Wolves, you guys actually struggled to break them down. I was watching the game until like I think Wolves had a lapse of concentration and Salah managed to score or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is, I wouldn't say it's a big issue, but there has been slight issue with the front line, the way you guys maybe score in put the ball into the back of the net. I think I think second half of the season, Salah, despite being tight top with Son in terms of Premier League goals, I think he had a very quiet second half of the season in that perspective, where he did score, but he wasn't firing each game.
Yeah, wasn't as effective after he came back from AFCON, I think. But
Yeah.
even think he had like 10 contributions in 10 games, which for his standards is not great, but generally I would consider it a pretty good return.
Yeah.
All right. So I think congratulations to Real Madrid for winning the Champions League for a record. How much was it? This is the 14th. Yep, 14 Champions League, guys. Oh my God. The next closest, I think, is AC Milan.
AC Milan with 7.
7? 8?
7, 8. No, I think 7.
I think it's 8. I'm not wrong. Okay, but we'll check that soon. Yeah, if you can, I think our viewers can verify that when they listen to it, if they listen to it this far into the episode. But anyway, yeah, that's.
Yeah, they have 7.
There's 7, is it? Okay. My bad. But I think, yeah, that was the Champions League final. I'm happy Real Madrid won. If you ask me, Liverpool probably deserved to win it. But that's been Real Madrid's story this season. They have arguably had, not arguably, they have had the harder route to the final.
They were the underdogs like each game.
Every game they were not fancy to win, and they came up trumps. And full credit to them. I think Liverpool had a very easy route to the final. They would have probably still beaten the opponents that Real Madrid faced. Don't get me wrong, because Liverpool are still that good a team. As much as I hate to say it, but if you're beating PSG, Chelsea, and City en route to your final, you have a pretty good chance of winning it. And
I would say it's one of Madrid's historic kind of Champions League campaigns. One of the best, I would say.
Yeah.
Because of the teams they faced. Let's not forget they lost to some Sheriff club in the group stages.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
First match out of the gates, they went on and lost to Sheriff Tiraspol.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People are ready to write them off in the Champions League after they came out.
But
So they decided to go and win it.
absolutely.
They chose violence after that game.
Okay, so I think we probably come to the end of the episode. It's been good, boys. Let's please let's. Okay, I think the three of us will probably still come on, but we probably need more commitment from the other guys. Hopefully, we'll get it soon. Yeah, I'm probably tired of seeing the same faces again. Yeah, just kidding. Love you, boys. But yeah. So before we end it off, Tarun, take it away.
Yes, guys. Well, if you've listened this far or if you've watched this far, thank you so much for all your attention and all your support. So of course, like I said before, please do subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Spotify if you haven't done so already. And we're on both these places as the Next Team Podcast. And yes, please do follow us on Instagram. That's where we'll be posting all our latest updates on whatever new content we make. And also check us out on TikTok. We'll be posting highlights and snippets, best moments from our videos over there. And we are on both those places as @TheNextTeamSG.
Yep. Thank you so much, Tarun. And
One more thing.
okay.
Stay tuned for the new season of FPL, which will be starting whenever they decide to reset the FPL.
And this time the price, after you guys see the price this season, this time the next season's price will be hopefully bigger and better. And yeah,
hopefully, and hopefully we can have more people participating. We always love to see your commitment and your
Absolutely.
teams.
Absolutely, 33 teams this season, and I think that is amazing for us as a podcast to know that our fans are participating as much as they are. And I think with that, this is a good time to end the show, boys and girls. And thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Next Team Podcast. Bye bye.
Ciao, guys.